Namaste everyone and welcome to another yoga class. This time we're gonna focus on the hips. So we're gonna do a lot of hip openers today. It's gonna be a bit of a mixture between Hatha and Yin. So we're gonna do some work on the muscles, but also on some deeper tissue. So without further ado, let's begin. And it might be good before you start to place your mat maybe next to a wall because by the end of the class we're gonna need a little wall space. If that's not possible, it's only for one pose, so don't worry about it. If you don't have a wall, just skip the last pose that we're gonna do anyway. So let's begin. Go and sit in a comfortable position. So it can be cross-legged, it can be in an easy pose like I'm at now. If you want, you can raise your hips to be on a block, to be on a pillow, whatever you feel to sit comfortably. We don't need any other props, so let's close our eyes when we're finished, when we're sitting in a comfortable position, and we're just going to take 1 or 2 minutes to focus on our breathing very gently. And we're just going to center a little bit. We're not going to take too much time focusing, observing our breathing. So take some deep inhales and exhales. And then when you feel that you're quite aligned with your breathing, you can gently bring both hands in front of the chest, in front of your heart. And you can lower your chin to your chest. And you can open your eyes again and raise up your head again. Then we're gonna start with our first pose, which is gonna be bound angle pose. So we're gonna bring both feet together. We're gonna push them gently together, and we're not gonna bring them too far away from us. So we're gonna gently bring them a little bit towards us. And if you feel that there is still a little bit of opening in your hips, where you can feel that you can go a bit deeper, you can put your hands next to your buttocks, next to your buttocks. I'm not gonna tell any other name. Then you can lift your hips and bring them a little bit more forward. As you can see, my knees aren't going to be able at all to touch the floor. It's also not necessary. We're going to really focus on our hips, on our groins. So normally you should be feeling it now. And then we're going to take a deep inhale and we're going to lengthen our spine a little bit. And then we're going to close our eyes. And if you can come a bit lower. But even here, it's not really necessary to go really deep. We're going to really focus on just going into this position, going into our groins, into our hips, rather than going deeply forward. This is not why we're doing this pose. We're doing this pose to release some tension in the hip. So close your eyes, and we're going to be here for a minute and a half. And with your eyes closed, you can really keep that intention inside. And if you feel a really deep stretch, try to breathe into this area where you feel this intense stretch going on. Try to feel if you can find a release. Then on the inhale, we raise our upper body again. Now we're gonna bring the feet a bit more to the front because we're actually gonna do a butterfly pose now. So we just had a bit of a hatha pose because we were not really going too long into the position. Now we're gonna do the yin version of the bound angle pose, which is the butterfly pose. And in this position, we do want to go a little bit deeper than in the bound angle pose. So we're gonna bring our feet a little bit forward into a diamond shaped position. So again, you're gonna really feel it in the groins, maybe not as much in the hips as I told before. Maybe just a little bit if you really have tight hips, but the main area is gonna be the groin. Within this pose, it's nice to open up the feet so they're not pressed together anymore, they're relaxed. Your knees are gonna go a bit deeper. If you have knee issues, it might be good to put some blocks or pillows underneath, but it's not really necessary. And then next we're gonna inhale, we're gonna lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, we're gonna bend forward as deep as we can. And just realize that you don't have to go extremely deep. The moment you feel a deep, intense stretch in your groins, that's enough. Don't go too deep so that you don't hurt yourself. Be gentle, but at the same time also feel the intense stretch going on. So we're gonna be here for 3 minutes now, so I'll see you back in 3 minutes time. Then on the next inhale, we raise ourselves up really gentle now. We don't work too fast. Really be aware of lifting yourself up gently, slowly, with full focus on your body and your inner self. So now we're gonna bring our legs to the front, and maybe you can shake them a little bit just to make sure that the blood flows again. Really good. I'm gonna stay here because now we're gonna go into half cow face pose. So we're gonna bring one leg over our other leg. So in my case, I just put my left leg over my right leg, and I bring the left foot towards my right hip. And then we're gonna bring our hands next to our right leg. Yes. And then on the inhale again, we're gonna raise our head, we're gonna lengthen our spine. And then on the exhale, we're gonna bend forward. And now you will feel a deep stretch in as well your hips as your bottom leg. So we're not gonna stay into this position for too long. We're just gonna take a couple of breaths and then we're gonna come up again. So close your eyes and focus on your breathing just a little bit. Next inhale, come back up again. Very good. And then we're gonna bring our bottom legs, our right leg, our right foot towards our left hip now. So in Yin Yoga, we're calling this shoelace pose. In Hatha Yoga, this is cow face pose, but legs in cow face pose. It's a bit difficult, so we're gonna go with the Yin version because we're gonna go into a Yin position anyway. So make sure now that both knees are quite on top of each other, that your both feet are next to the opposite hip. And then here again, we're gonna inhale, lengthen our spine. And on the exhale, we can bend forward, we can bring our hands forward as well. And here we're gonna be for 2 minutes now. So we're gonna close our eyes. And I will come back to you in about 2 minutes. On the next inhale, we come up again. And then we're gonna bring our left leg back to the front and then followed by our right leg. And again, we're gonna just release the tension again in both legs. We're just gonna make sure that the blood flows again, because it might happen that your legs go numb. If that does happen, please get out a little bit out of the position, because sometimes it can be that there's like a little nerve stuck while you're in a certain position. So we really don't want that. If you feel that your body is going numb during any of these positions, just take a step back or come out a little bit out of the position. Alright, now we have to do the other side, of course. So now we're going to take our right leg and we're going to bring it over the left one. So first we're going to do the Hatha version, the half version. So we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, we're going to bend forward. And to be really honest, for me, this is a deeper stretch than when I go completely into the position, because I think it puts more stress on your leg. It's really great for the muscles, which you want to do with Hatha Yoga. And then inhale, come back up again, maybe walk your hands backwards, and then we're gonna bring our left leg towards our right hip now. So we're in a nice cow face position with our legs. So again, here we're gonna inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale. We bend forward. And again, we're gonna be here 2 minutes. So just close your eyes, take the attention inwards, and focus on your body. You might feel by now that we're really working on those hips. So see whatever comes up or not. Maybe you can just find deep relaxation in this position as well, which is even better. And 1 more minute to go, so I'm gonna stop talking now. Then on the inhale, we gently walk up again. And then we're gonna release both legs again. We're gonna shake them out a little bit, just to make sure that we release the blood again. The blood can flow deeply again. What else? And then we're gonna go on our hands and knees. So we're gonna, and just for a minute, so it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but more or less you want your knees underneath your hips and your hands underneath your shoulders. But as I said, it doesn't really matter because we're gonna bring our toes, big toes together, and then we're gonna put our hips in between our heels. And we're gonna go into child's pose now. And we're gonna go in here for about 3 minutes. Mostly child's pose is used for a very deep relaxation to bring you back to um, a natural position. Like most kids, when they sleep, they find themselves in this position. However, now we're going to focus on our hips because it's also a little bit of a hip opener as well. So what you can do is open your knees a little bit so that you can go really deeper into the position, deeper into the hips. And we're gonna stay here for 3 minutes. Alright, then we gently come back into a tabletop, but we keep our knees in the same position, in that wide position. And at the same time, we're also gonna open our legs a little bit. So now our knees are a bit further away than hip width apart because we're gonna go into frog pose. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put our forearms on the floor. Maybe if you want, you can even go wider with your knees, and then you're gonna bring your hips a little bit backwards. And we're gonna stay here for 2 minutes now in frog pose. So close your eyes. And if you don't feel anything, you can always open the knees a little bit more. But I think this doesn't need a lot of convincing. Alright, and then you can open your eyes again, and then we're actually just gonna go forward. So we're gonna go on our belly now, and just for a minute on each side, we're gonna go into half frog. So now we're just gonna raise our knee up until like hip width apart, like in one line with our hip. And in this position, we're just gonna put one cheek on the mat. If you start with your left side or with your left leg, you put your right cheek on the mat. And this is just a resting pose. You're not gonna feel a lot of things in here, but we've done quite some work on the hips already. So it might be nice to just relax, give them a bit of rest as well. So just 1 minute each side. So see you then. Okay, very good. And then we're gonna bring both legs back together and we're gonna switch sides. So now we're gonna go with our other side, and then for me that's my right side, so my left cheek now goes onto the mat. Another minute here. All right, very good. We bring both legs back together, and now we're gonna turn ourselves around. All right, and when you're on your back, you're gonna place your feet into the mat, and then it's good to place them as close to your buttocks as possible. So when you reach your hands, you should actually be able to grab your heel. And then you know you're in the right position for bridge pose. So on the next inhale, we're gonna raise our hips into the air until they're more or less at our knees. And then on the exhale, we're gonna gently lower vertebra per vertebra into the mat. So be really conscious about it, that you're not going too fast. Inhale, we're gonna raise the hips again. Palms of the hands into the mat to push yourself up a little bit. Your shoulders are also touching, reaching towards each other. And then exhale. We're gonna gently lower vertebra per vertebra. Very, very aware, full of awareness, concentration, whatever you want to call it. And again, inhale up. And then on the exhale, you know what to do. Follow your own breathing, your own exhale. Very good. Then for the next position, we're gonna bring our legs towards us, and with our middle finger and our index finger, we're gonna take our big toes. If you have a bit of fragile toes, don't worry, you can also take the outside of your feet, but I always like to take my big toes, and then we're gonna go into happy baby. So we're gonna open our legs, and we're gonna stay here for a couple of minutes, but you can be really playful in this position, so don't be afraid to sway from left to right. Give your back a little massage. Maybe you can even fall onto your right side and onto your left side. And then come back into the middle and close your eyes and stay here for a couple of breaths as well. And then close your legs again. On an exhale, bring them back to your belly and gently lower them back into the mat. Now, for our last position, we're gonna need the wall, so I'm gonna turn myself around. Whoop. Here we go. We're gonna go into legs up the wall. So it would be good to position yourself when you're seated with one of your hips, it doesn't matter which one, next to your wall. Make sure that they're as close as possible. Then from here, it's going to be a bit tricky now, especially to explain it, so I hope it's better noticeable on the screen than it is in my explanation. So we're going to gently lower our upper body towards our mat, and at the same time, we're going to bring our feet up. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't do this a little bit slower. It's just one movement going on. And then if you feel that you're still quite far away from the wall, you can bring your... Oh, no, that's quite good actually, to be honest. And then we can open up the arms just to make sure that your shoulders are open. And then you have two options here, or you stay here, which is really good. But we're working on our groins, on our hips, on our pelvic area in general, basically. So if you want, you can also open the legs and stay here, and you'll feel that it's going from your thighs up until your groins. So whatever you want. We're gonna be here for 3 minutes. Or option 1 with the legs closed, or option 2 with the legs open. And I will see you in 2 minutes. And then when you're ready, the ones going for option 2 can gently bring both feet back together. Maybe you can stay here for 10 seconds, 20, 30 seconds more or less. And then you can come back into a seated position, but we're actually just gonna go straight ahead into Shavasana. Oh my god, my shorts. So we're just gonna go into Shavasana. So we're gonna go on our back. The back of our hands are on the floor or on the mat, but probably on the floor. You open up your shoulders and you close your eyes, and we're gonna stay here for about 5 minutes. And in these 5 minutes, you are aware that you don't have to do anything at all. These 5 minutes are crucial for your yoga practice. Because you've used your body now to release a lot of things inside. And within Shavasana, we can go into complete meditation, into a complete state of nothingness, of no thoughts, no actions, just being totally still. When the time is done, I will gently get you out of Shavasana again. And then gently bring back movement in your fingers and your toes. In your hands and your feet. In your arms and your legs. Maybe you can even stretch yourself completely. And on your own pace, you can come onto your right side, be aware that you still have your eyes closed for as long as possible. And then from here, you push yourself up again into a seated position. The eyes are still closed, and you bring your hands in front of your chest together. And on your own pace, you can bring your chin towards your chest and then gently open your eyes again. Make sure you let them adjust to the light first before you raise up your head again. So thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is at your place. And I hope to see you next time. Namaste.